studio execs. He'd go absolutely nuts about studio execs, the money they made, and we're those poor starving actors, you know, this sort of thing. And I don't like this, doesn't it? Doesn't look as it doesn't look too bad. And he laughed. Oh, no. Starving actors. What about starving hairdressers?
Did he still have his pickup? Because you said he used to drive a pickup.
Yeah, Mavrock. He did. He got rid of that a long time ago.
Oh.
It wasn't. It was like a 4x4.
Oh, right.
I can't remember now. You know.
And did you ever go up to the ranch in Santa Ynez?
No, I was supposed to. She was going to build a helipad so I could fly up. I swear.
Really?
Yeah, but they
to do her hair. Jesus.
I know, but you know what happened was they built the house, and they never lived in it for one day. He apparently went up, and the shower was too small for him because he was tall, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't want to know. So it says that you know, I was reading somewhere.
I mean, that could always be fixed.
Listen, he said he went up to it, and after he finished building it, he got an offer on it, and he thought that's too good to be true, and he sold it. He said, you know, but the real thing was this. Right? She went up there, and he gave $250,000 to spend on furnishings, right? And she spent $100,000 on 2 fancy lamps.
God.
Right? And they have all this really expensive wallpaper somewhere. It's like they never used it. So the truth of the matter was, he got up there. He didn't want to travel up there every day.
Yeah.
Or live up there. It was right in the wilderness. It was 400 acres, and he had this, wine place on it. You know, it was
the vineyard.
The vineyards, yeah. Chateau Jimbo. I've still got one of the bottles of Chardonnay.
Really?
Yeah. And you know the photograph of me standing on the box with Nikita?
Oh yeah, up on the roof. Yeah.
Right. Well, I was standing on a box of that wine.
Oh really?
That was the box I used.
Oh right.
Because when I showed it to the secretary, that's the first thing she pointed out. She went, "You're standing on the bloody wine box there, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, I am. That's right." So anyway, so the truth of the matter was, the cost overruns cost so much money that they decided to sell it, and they lost money when they sold it. It wasn't he's saying that, oh yeah, had a good offer, so I sold it. That wasn't true. They were losing money hand over fist. It was too expensive, so they sold it with the 400 acres in the vineyard as well.
Mm.
But you know, it's funny.
So did they live in Bel Air or Beverly Hills or Palisades?
33 Oakmont Drive. I can see where as you go off Sunset and wind up, and there's a private street off to the left.
Oh, off by the Chateau Marmont that way?
No, the other way. It's west of the 405. Get on Sunset.
Yeah, Pacific Palisades.
No, it's Brentwood.
Brentwood, yes.
Sorry.
Brentwood. Yeah, Brentwood, yeah.
And he lived there, you know, when he bought that, he lived there all his life. They didn't do a damn thing to it. It was...
Well, home is home, you know.
Yeah. They didn't modernise it or anything. They just kept it. It was, you know, it was nice. I had a swimming pool and all that jazz. And she lived in the kitchen most of the time.
I mean, what do you need?
They had separate bedrooms. He lived on one side of the house next to the kitchen, and she had hers on the other side. You know. But
I'll never forget. I guess I was 14, 13 or 14. So it's like 19. When did you said Maverick started in 57?
56, 57, I think that's when it was. I mean, I can't. I'm just saying off the top of my head.
Yeah, okay.
I really can't say.
Okay, I think I was 13 or 14, so that would have made it 1956. And he came up and appeared at the Cow Palace. There was a big Scout Jamboree thing there. And because my dad was Scoutmaster, I was able to get in near where the dressing room was. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I got a little card and went in and he signed it. And I saw him in the distance. But that was the first star. Because, you know, growing up in San Francisco, you don't get to, you know, there's no opportunity really, you know, for kids to meet. You know, maybe in LA there's a lot more opportunity, you know, because there's just so many people who are stars that live down there. And I kept that autograph for a long time. And then in one of my moves it went astray.
There was one, there was one guy, movie star, who was in LA, and he was a young guy, I can't remember who it was now, and he was talking about going into a restaurant, and he sort of pushed through the door, and, you know, he was a young kid, and all of a sudden somebody put a hand on him. "Opens the door for the lady," Arnold Schwarzenegger. He should have grabbed him. But hey, you know, don't be rude. You know, I think he pushed in front of him and he put his hand on the shoulder and grabbed him. Hey, don't be rude to the lady, or open the door for the lady, or something like this. And he looks up and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. But now that
anything you say,
the kid now is this. I can't remember who it was, but he's quite famous. You know what I mean? He's a young sort of movie star himself. But then he tells this story. I think it was on like Jay Leno, you know, one of these things, because I like Jay Leno.
I never liked his show, but I like him.
No,
I've met him
right.
a few times. Yeah. He's a real lovely guy.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? He comes over as I watched the Jay Leno garage thing.
I never saw that.
Oh,
I'll bet that was great.
Yeah, he's starting a new show with it. Yeah, but he explains the different cars he's got. And
Did you ever see my favorite series? And then he's come out with a new one called Last Man Standing. Tim, what's his name? Who was in the Do-It-Yourself show? What was it called?
Oh, Tim Allen.
Yeah, Tim Allen, Home Improvement.
They've got his, you know, that truck he used in it, that sort of camper van type thing with all the tools in it, for Tool Time, was it?
That was the name of his show. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They have that on display at the. It's north of where I live, about 10 miles north of where I live. And they have all these cars, these fabulous cars that they've done up, and it's the. I'm trying to think of the name.
It's like
Nethercutt Museum, and it was the Merle Norman Cosmetic Company.
Oh right, yeah.
And the owners of that, the Nethercutts, the father started getting these cars together, and started to, you know, restore them, and they've got like 150 in this song, and also this Tool Time thing from Tim Allen.
Well, one of his, because on the show at home, he's building it's a 1939 Ford or something like that. You know, he's starting from scratch and through several series, and he's got the kids out there working on it and everything. That's his escape, you know. And gradually the car gets built, totally rebuilt, and then he goes to Leno's. But it's not Jay Leno. He goes to this place where all these classic cars are, and it's Leno's garage. You know, it's his place, and he's in character. He's playing his character and everything, and this old greasy mechanic comes out and he says, "What you looking for?" And it's Jay, but it's Jay just playing a mechanic in the garage, and it was quite cute. It was a good episode.
Yeah. Well, you know, he was over on Top Gear. You know, he drove a car on Top Gear.
Jay did.
Yeah. He came over and they were...
That's filmed just over here.
Yeah?
Opposite my golf club.
Oh, okay.
There's an old aerodrome.
Yes, that's right.
Dunsfold Aerodrome.
Okay.
And you can hear that, like, we'll be out playing golf during the summer especially, and you can hear them recording, because they're recording all day, you know, and the helicopter is taking the helicopter shots, and you can hear these fabulous machines going through the gears, you know, and all day long while they're filming and editing and filming and you know, and getting all the shots they need and everything.
Okay. Well,
And then it's the big warehouse where they film the actual show is on the grounds as well.
well, the other thing I saw was they had Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson on, and you know they give him a bog standard car to drive.
Yeah.
And you have to beat other people.
Yeah.
You know he was. I don't know whether he still is, but he was #1.
Really?
Because he races old cars, Rowan Atkinson. So he was on the show. Anyway, the thing about Jay Leno was they were saying how, you know, he has so many cars. He spends all his money on cars, and he's got dozens and dozens of cars.
No,
I used to
he's got hundreds.
Yes, literally.
Yeah.
I used to see him coming up.
You know how it began? How he started collecting. When he drove out from where he's from to Hollywood, he had an old Buick. I don't know, 50s, some old Buick. And then he started making money, and he sold the Buick, you know, and then he tracked it down and he bought it from the owner and had it restored, and then that got him going. And then he started making more money, and then.
And boy, did he make more money! Yeah, he told a story on Top Gear that he. I don't know, he was either in his garage and these two guys came in, they looked like gangbangers, you know, they had tattoos all over here and the teardrops and the, you know, and the caps on backwards and all this sort of thing. And he was looking at working on this particular car, you know, and these guys came up and, hey, you know, and they go, hey, that's a so-and-so car with us, da-da-da-da, and he says, yeah, and then he realised they were petrol heads, you know what I mean? He got talking to them, they were all enthusiastic, so he says, I wanted to go for a drive in it. And he said, oh, yeah. So he puts them in the back, and he's thinking to himself, what the hell have I done with these two guys? So he says, he goes up, he says, he goes up, there's a road that leads to Mulholland Drive, he says, in LA, from Pacific Coast Highway. And you know the one with the tunnels in it? There's a couple of them got tunnels when you go up from Malibu. There's like tunnels going through the rocks.
Through Malibu Canyon.
Yeah. Okay, so he's going up there, he says, and he got it on one of the straights. He got it up to 120 mile an hour. As he's coming into the tunnel, out of the tunnel, I think probably going into the tunnel. I don't know. He's whoop whoop, and the police pull him over. And he's like, and then the policeman walks up to him and says, of course, recognises, what do you think you were doing? And these two guys went, it's okay, we're police.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, they were like, I guess, undercover. You know, I was in.
But why were they?
I only got sort of parts of it. I was watching it, but half watching the show.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean? I only got parts, but it was the way they said, it's okay, flip their badges. But I
would have thought he probably would have said, oh, about 120.
Yeah. Well, apparently, well, I can tell you this. I was in Thank God It's Fridays when I first came over here, right?
Yeah.
In where was it? We had one in, I don't know. On the beach area, one of the beach areas.
Marina Del Rey?
Yeah, I think it was Marina
That's
Del Rey.
That's where we always used to eat lunch when I was working on the Enterprise.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I'm in there one night, and a friend of mine wanted a straw. Now, what did he want this straw for? For his drink or something. He asked for a straw.
That seems obvious. Ken?
Yeah. But the next thing is, this guy came up, Mexican kid came up, and flipped his badge. And I mean, he again, it was undercover. You would never know. They were thinking he was asking for a straw so he could
do a bit of blow.
Yeah. And he asked him what he wanted it for. I said, for my drink. And like this. He flipped his badge. He said, what do you want these straws for? I think it might have been something else, not for the drink. I think he was going to make do a sort of magic trick or something like that. It wasn't,
Yeah.
But yeah, you know. And the guy was like, "What do you want this to?"
Why did he write on it?
Listen, and he was like, this kid was a certain Mexican kid, and he you'd never put him out as a undercover cop, but he was. That's how they do it, isn't it? So anyway, that's the Leno story. If you watch it, if you get the Leno one on Top Gear, that's what he tells.
I'll have a look, yeah, because that'll be on YouTube probably.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will
Yeah.
be. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send a...
Well, let's.
No, I think I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to send a letter to my lawyer.
Yeah.
Now, if I can use your
Yeah.
computer to do it, because
Yeah.
I can't do it on the iPad.
Oh,
so
no, I
it's
know,
a
I know.
Pain in the ass. So I'll just send him a thing saying that, look, he says, hope you're enjoying yourself in the UK, and I'll tell him, no, I'm not here to enjoy myself, and to give him the lowdown, and then say, look, you know, and just explain the way I feel, and what does he suggest? Because I'm not hearing anything from her and her lawyer, except they're just trying to ground me into the ground. I don't want to know.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, your doctor says,
No stress.
yeah, and so I don't want to, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's about as...
But I think I'll write to my mate anyway.
All right.
And just in case you decide, you know, I need to talk to somebody besides, because your lawyer has maybe he's a great guy, but he's also got his own agenda.
Well, they all have, haven't they? They're
Yeah.
trying to make money.
Well, Lloyd's not like that. You know, and he certainly wouldn't be like that with a friend.
I think we've asked him for something on Your Toes once before.
I don't know. Could have been.
Because I know the name.
Well, he's the only lawyer I know, and he's a mate. So.
Right,
It could have been.
between these glasses. Yeah, there was something. Yeah, Lauren Kirschbaum, yeah?
Yeah, Lloyd Kirschbaum.
I'm going to clean these glasses and then do that. If you don't mind, I would like to just use your computer.
Yeah, I'll get the email program up.